Good evening. I'm Spot On Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler, and we're going to take a look at the long-range forecast. And we're starting it off here on the 5th of February 2017. All right, so we're going to kick it off right away with a fairly active situation this Thursday, the 9th of February. So what we have going on, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We have an area of low pressure, 1004 millibar low, sitting off the mid-Atlantic coast, a 1031 millibar high sitting over southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and we have some colder air that is coming down from the north. So just a little background, the last few days, this particular low pressure system has come and gone in the forecast models. And also, it just started re-emerging yesterday on the models again, but it was further south and then offshore. In this case, the latest model guidance shows it going right across the area, more of a northerly route, out ahead of the coldest air, which sits back to the northwest of the main precipitation associated with the low itself. So what we're expecting is mainly a rain event with this system. It did have the potential to be a winter storm, but again, it's all about the timing of this cold air from the northwest. It's all about the track of this low pressure system as it skirts across the south and then off the coast. We just don't have enough cold air in place to make this a strictly winter storm, and that's the way it looks right now at this time. Now, we will see mainly rain Wednesday night, and the colder air will start filtering in from the northwest. And basically what's going to happen over time is the colder air will filter in. The precip will continue into Thursday, and we expect a period of possible wintry mix as the system pulls offshore, but we're not expecting any significant ice or snow accumulation at this time. Again, we'll continue to follow this situation, but this starts the long term off right away. We're starting it off with the 9th of February this Thursday. We'll have to keep an eye on this to see the timing of the cold air from the northwest, as well as the track of this low pressure or storm system as it heads off the coast. With the jet stream, we have a trough off the United States west coast with cooler temperatures, then into a ridge pattern up into western Canada, followed by another deep trough that is going to allow colder air to move in from Canada towards southeast Virginia. Friday, the storm system was well offshore. We got that high pressure system directly overhead, resulting in dry and cooler weather. On the backside of the high, thicknesses are already rising. And that basically tells you what's going to happen as the patterns in the mid-latitudes United States generally go from west to east, the main storm systems and the high-pressure systems. So we expect warmer air that will be moving back in for this upcoming weekend. There's the deep trough that's situated now. The long wave trough axis is off the east coast. And then we have a little bit of a ridging pattern starting to take shape in conjunction with these rising thickness values for the 10th this Friday. But again, southeast Virginia dry will be in the lower to middle 40s for high temperatures at that time. Moving on to Saturday, the 11th of February, high pressures now slid offshore to the southeast. The winds are now becoming more west-southwest, which is going to result in rising thickness values and warming temperatures again, back into the 50s for highs. Rain showers and snow shower activity to the north over New England. And then the jet stream, if you notice the difference, went from more of a troughing, where you're allowing cold air in from Canada, and the trough now moving offshore, and now more of a west to east zonal flow once again. We do have some ridging trying to develop up into western Canada at this time. We're just going to have to see how this all plays out. With time, we'll keep you updated here at Spot On Weather. And then on Sunday, we could have a little bit of rain trying to get back in the area, but the temperatures are just so mild across the eastern United States. The majority of the cold air will stay off to New England and then also to the northern plains area. So we may have a weak area of low pressure for the back half of the upcoming weekend on Sunday, the 12th of February. You see the jet stream again, that ridge is building again across western Canada, and then we're getting this deeper trough that's trying to bring colder air down into the lower 48. Again, more of a west to east jet stream pattern across the mid-Atlantic, which generally means temperatures will be in the 50s for high temperatures, which is not that far from seasonal values right now, with the normal high temperature at this time of year about 51 degrees. Monday the 13th of February, what happens over time, this area of low pressure moves off to the east into the northeast by Monday the 13th. We do have a little bit of cooler temperatures that come in on the backside of this low with some northwest winds. There will be a front that has passed through as well in conjunction with this low pressure storm system. But dry conditions for southeast Virginia. The jet stream still looks to me rather impressive as far as the ridge into western Canada. And then you have this upper level closed low just off of California. But this ridge pattern in the trough into the east, you would say to yourself, boy, that favors some colder weather for the eastern United States. But the core of the cold remains up over eastern Canada and does not come all the way down. The core of the coldest air remains to the north, and the jet stream then becomes more west-east. So you notice how it's not northwest to southeast orientation all the way down to South Carolina and off the east coast. Instead, it's northwest to southeast to the Midwest, and then it bends and turns the jet axis more west to east, which is cooler but not as cold as it could potentially be. Tuesday, Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, dry, cooler conditions. Will cool down back into the 40s for high temperatures by this point. Again, that strong ridge, upper level ridge over the western Canada with a deep trough moving into the eastern United States. But again, we expect the core of the coldest air to remain over eastern Canada at this time. And then Wednesday, the 15th of February, again, very little change. Dry conditions. Temperatures stay fairly the same between Valentine's Day and the 15th of February. High temperatures in the 40s. Again, the pattern favors colder air in the east with a upper level trough over the eastern United States. But again, the core of the coldest air remains north of the mid-Atlantic area in this particular part of Canada. And that's been the story, really, the last couple of weeks. The potential has been there for some extreme cold, but it's just not happening. The core of the cold is staying up to the north. So the long-range final thoughts, this is what we're expecting. The temperature roller coaster is continuing for southeastern Virginia. And it really has been quite a roller coaster ride as far as temperatures. We've been jumping back and forth 20 to 25 to 30 degrees even over the last week and a half. From very mild temperatures in the 60s to, for example, yesterday, Saturday, the 4th of February, the high was only in the upper 30s. That's going to continue for a little bit. Really no change in sight as we have a transitory pattern after a very mild and windy period. So we're expecting very mild and windy conditions, scattered rain showers through Wednesday. We will have some more substantial precipitation Wednesday afternoon, evening, as that other low pressure system forms and moves overhead. But mild and windy through Wednesday the 8th of February. We could have temperatures all the way up to near 70 degrees, believe it or not. 70 degrees at this time of year. Temperatures are then going to fall again, though, after this Wednesday for Thursday and Friday period, colder again. And what I've noticed in the trends in the forecast guidance is they've been going milder and milder with the temperatures, keeping the core of the coldest air to the north. We will still get very, very chilly, no doubt about it, with highs only in the lower 40s come Thursday and Friday. And Thursday, keep in mind that we could start off the morning with some rain, and that could change over to a mix of rain and snow. Again, we're not expecting any major impacts at this time anyway, and we'll keep an eye on things here at Spot on Weather and keep you updated. But with temperatures not as cold and a more northerly storm track with the system I started off with on the long range on Thursday, precip looks to be mainly rain with the potential for a brief changeover to snow. Again, no significant impacts expected this time. And by the way, there's no other winter storms on the horizon. So if you're a winter storm lover, or you really want to see another snowstorm across southeast Virginia, I tell you, it's looking really tough right now in the long-range pattern for that to happen. The highs are only going to be in the lower 40s on Thursday and Friday, with high pressure building into the area behind the departing storm as it pushes offshore off the mid-Atlantic. Then mild again 11 and 12 February before the next surge of cold air moves in for 13th and 14th. And again, the pattern is favorable for more dominant cold across the eastern United States over the long range. There's plenty of cold up in Canada still. We have a positive Pacific North American pattern, the PNA pattern, which usually sets up as a ridge in the west and the trough in the east. And that's showing up. That's showing up in the long range. This huge ridge or dome of warmer air is positioned from the west coast of the U.S. up through western Canada. And it's a common theme throughout this long range. But again, the way the jet axis is, it's directing the coldest air from Canada into the Great Lakes area and across to New England and keeping it mainly in those areas north of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. That's where the coldest air is going to reside in the long range. And the orientation isn't deep enough. The trough is not deep enough to really allow the coldest core of the air to come spilling through the base of the trough. So that's really what we're looking at in the long range. And that wraps everything up tonight from Spot On Weather. I really hope you enjoyed the presentation as usual. And we'll keep you up to date on this possible storm Wednesday into Thursday. Again, looks like rain at this point for the majority of the time. Brief change over to rain and snow. So you may see a few flakes of snow in there with the rain Thursday. But at this time, unless the storm track changes and shifts further south and colder air moves in quicker, we're really looking at more of a liquid type storm. So that wraps everything up. Really hope everybody enjoys this Sunday night. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the game. And just keep in mind, we're spot on weather. If we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. Have a great Sunday evening, everyone.